Hello friends, and welcome to a very exciting reading journal update because I've had the best reading month. I've just been reading so many great books lately, and I feel very lucky to have not read anything that I haven't thoroughly enjoyed. So I'm very excited to make these reading spreads with you today and just share everything I've been reading and all of the really cute reading spreads that I end up creating. So the first book we are going to be doing is Nightshade by Autumn Woods, and this book was a perfect dark academia, slightly creepy enemies to lovers romance, which is set in a Scottish university, like a castle, and it was just perfect for the spooky season, if I'm being honest. It also has a bit of a mystery going on, so there is like just a bit of everything in this, and it's definitely perfect if you are somebody that enjoys dark academia. And I can definitely confirm that these characters are actually enemies at the start, and it takes them a while to get to lovers, but I really enjoyed both of the characters. I loved learning about them, and they are grumpy, so they are both grumpy characters, and I just really enjoyed that, to be honest. It was just a really fun book which had really great banter as well. And I will say the audiobook was really good too. I read the physical copy, but I did listen to one chapter via audiobook because I have a subscription on my Spotify, so I can just jump in and out of audiobooks, and it's one of my favorite like male narrators, which I didn't realize until I was listening to it, and I was like, ooh, maybe I should have listened to the entire audiobook. So maybe I will have to go back and re-listen at some point, maybe before book 2 comes out in the future. The book cover is purple, which is why I went for this purple theme, and I also used this window sticker from Journal Say, and I'm just going to say now, pretty much the majority of the stationery that I use in this entire video is from Journal Say because I get a lot of their goodies to use in my reading spreads, so I'm just going to put it out there now so I don't have to keep repeating myself, and I will link all the products in the description below, and I have a discount code if you want to use it, which works with all the other discounts on the website. Now you can see here that I have two of the characters' names, and they basically flirt via emails a lot, and they also flirt via crosswords. So I really wanted to just add that reference in somewhere, so I kind of made myself this little mini crossword with their names and just stamped them out on some sticker paper and then cut them out. I wanted to add them to the spread because I just really like to add little clues or things that have happened in the story that you would maybe only understand if you've read the book, and it also just reminds me when I look back on these spreads of things that have happened in the book. I also recently got these purple frames, so I wanted to add one because of course they match the colour scheme, and when I make my reading spreads I usually have a slight plan as to what stationery I'm going to use. I do like to plan that out because obviously I want it to match the book or the book cover, and then once I've figured out what stationery I'm going to use, then it's just a wing it situation after that, depending on where I'm going to stick everything or how it's all going to come together. I don't really know that at the start, but I do tend to create like little piles of stationery because I just really want them to be super themed around the book, and because I've been adding the little book covers as well, it's just a lot easier to match it. And I love the book cover of this one, and I actually have the physical copy with, well, I planned on getting the sprayed edges one because the bookstore in the UK was doing a special edition and it was really cheap, but when I got it they just didn't have any, so I do have the normal copy. But I'm very happy that I do have a physical copy of this one, and it is a part of a duology. So at the end of this book there was a pretty big plot twist, and I feel like they're maybe going to go back to enemies in the second book. I don't know, it was just intense, but I really, really love these characters, and I would recommend that you read this book if you haven't already. I tend to just write down things that I enjoyed in the book, maybe a little bit of a summary with the plots. So don't read the writing if you don't want any spoilers, because I can't remember what I wrote in these reading journal spreads, but I won't give you any spoilers whilst I'm talking now. But yeah, just do not read the writing just in case, but it might be safe, I'm not sure, but I can't guarantee it. So the next spread that we are going to do is going to be 2 separate books, but I'm going to do them on the same spread. So I basically just flip between either a half a spread for a book or a full spread. It just depends really how much decoration I want to do. And if I am reading part of a series, then I do tend to do 2 single spreads together, because I just feel like they go well and it just makes sense for them to be next to each other in my journal. So the next 2 books, which I'm hoping you can guess what they are fantasy, and if you look at the stationery, then maybe you will have a clue if you've read the books, but it is Lightlark and Nightbane by Alex Aster. And I have been meaning to read these books for a long time. I know they're quite popular in the fantasy, romantasy world, but yeah, I've just never got around to reading them. So I basically decided to just read them one day, and it was a very random decision, and I am very glad that I did. I found the premise of the book really interesting. So basically there is a set of trials that all the leaders of the different realms have to enter, and I think it's once every 100 years that they can do it, and it's to try and break a curse that curses all the different places in the world. So you meet all the different characters, and then obviously all the things that they have to go through. So the reason why one of the sides is very light and related to sun and all things magical on the lighter side, and then the other side is going to be a more darker, because those are our 2 love interests. So this series follows a love triangle, and I have finished obviously book 2. I haven't got onto the rest of the series. There's I think 2 more books, another one's out and another one's coming out soon, I think, or maybe there's more, I don't know. So who knows what happens in those. But yeah, we have 2 love interests, which I found really interesting, to be honest, and I had no idea which way things were going to go. I like both of them, but I definitely prefer Grimm a little bit more, the darker, more moody and broody character. But yeah, this spread was just so fun to make. I did get these 2 washies as well, specifically for this reading spread, so that I could really convey Lightlark and just the character that you will see very soon. And I decided as well to add the names of the 2 love interests on the top of the page, which you will see me do in a little bit later. And with book 2, I definitely enjoyed Nightbane a lot more than the first one. I'm not really sure why, but I did. And it's kind of like the second book is following the aftermath of the trials. Obviously, I won't tell you what happens in the trials, but something happens quite big. And then, yeah, book 2 is following the aftermath of that. And I did really enjoy it because you basically keep traveling back in time and seeing memories, which I really loved. Those parts of the second book, they were maybe my favorite. And the one thing that really annoyed me though about book 2 is there is a huge miscommunication, and I feel like it was driving me insane, because I was like, if you guys just speak to each other, then everything will be fine. But I guess then there would be no book. But yeah, that really frustrated me in book 2. And I haven't picked up book 3 yet, so I'm not sure when I'm going to, but I will do at some point. But it just wasn't, I didn't feel like I really needed to jump straight into book 3, whereas if I'm reading a series and maybe the end of a book is a huge plot twist, or I'm just like, what on earth is going to happen next, then I really have the need to jump straight in to another book, whereas I don't have that urge for book 3 at the moment. And I'm also really bad for looking on Goodreads reviews, and some of the reviews weren't great for the next book, so I was a bit like, oh, it made me not want to read it. But I am going to read it at some point, so if you have read this entire series, then please tell me if I should continue reading it, because as I said, I did really enjoy these first 2 books. But yeah, I'm just not too sure. Maybe when the new book comes out, then maybe that will be a good time for me to catch up whilst everybody else is reading. So the first spread is obviously following, also, I hope I'm going to say this right, Oro, and then the second spread is following Grimm. And these window stickers are so perfect for both of these spreads. And they are some of my favourite stickers to use in fantasy spreads, and they are all from Journal Say. I think every single piece of stationery on this spread is from Journal Say, so I'll link everything below so that you can grab it. And yeah, I'm just really enjoying these 2 spreads next to each other. I'm not sure what I would do for the next books in the series in regards to my journal, because they don't, well, I don't actually know because I haven't read them, but from looking at the front cover, I feel like they don't follow, well, either one of these characters. But as I said, I'm just talking rubbish because I genuinely have no idea what is in that book. So it could be anything. There could be a new character that I don't know about, and maybe I could do a spread all about that character. But yeah, let me know if you enjoyed these books. I've heard mixed reviews on them. I do like Alex Aster as an author. I know there's some controversy around her on the internet for different reasons, but I'm not really fussed about that. And I read one of her contemporary romances in the summer. That was my first book by her. And then I have actually pre-ordered her fantasy book. I can't even remember what it's called, but it comes out next year and it looks big, and it's a adult romantasy, whereas these are young adults. So I figured I would try and read it because I read the blurb and the synopsis sounded just really interesting and something that maybe I hadn't come across before. So yeah, I've pre-ordered that one for the future, so that hopefully that will be a really fun romantasy to read. And I do really enjoy reading books when they come out on release day, because then I can read them with everybody else, and it just feels a lot more exciting to read books during their release time. It's almost like going to watch a movie that's just come out on release day. So yeah, that's the plan. Now our next one is another fantasy. I promise they are not all fantasy books. The last book is not, but this one was also a new release that came out, which I was actually really excited for this one. I didn't really know what to expect, whether I was going to enjoy the book or not, because the first book in the series was maybe a 3 stars for me. So this was the second one, and this was way better than the first one, and I don't think everybody thinks that, but for me, I thought this one was just so much better. So if you can't guess by the stickers, then this is Mate by Ali Hazelwood. And if you watch my channel a lot, you know I really love Ali Hazelwood, and I will just read anything she writes. I think she's a really funny, witty author, and I just like the stories that she writes. So this is following on from Bride, which, yeah, as I said, wasn't my favourite. But this one, I had so much fun reading this book. I felt like the characters were just so much better than the characters in Bride. I really got behind them a lot more. And the thing I liked about this book as well is that it definitely dove into the world a lot more. So in Bride, I felt like we didn't see too much of the greater world, whereas in this one we got to travel around a little bit and just see new places and understand how things worked a little bit more. So it was definitely better in regards to world building, and I feel like there was a lot more plot as well, whereas in the first book the plot wasn't like a huge part of it, it was more romance, whereas this one was definitely more plot, in my opinion anyway. Yeah, this was a lot better. And if also random, but if you're wondering why there is a blue tinge in the corner of the screen, that's because I was wearing an extremely turquoise top and I didn't realize it was reflecting onto the desk at the time. But yeah, I'm just wearing a Miami Dolphins top, which is very random, but I will know not to wear this again when filming. So I also used some of these little green leaf pet tapes because I was basically just trying to grab lots of different green stationeries, but I obviously wanted it to have a fantasy-esque to it. So I went with a simple patterned paper for the background. I went for another one of the fantasy windows, and then I basically just used these stickers all around the spread because I just felt like it would make it a lot more detailed and just like there's a lot more things going on. I also used some stamps to add some detail around the edge as well, and because obviously the book is about werewolves, then I also added a moon pet tape, which is also from Journal Say, of course. But yeah, this one was definitely a spicy book, I will say that. So it's definitely not for the faint-hearted. There is some strange going-ons in this book, but I would expect nothing less from Ali Hazelwood, if I'm being honest. But this story made me laugh out loud like multiple times, and that doesn't happen very easily for me. And I finished it extremely quickly as well. I didn't have very high hopes for this one, if I'm being honest. I was expecting it to not be very good, but I was very pleasantly surprised, and I feel like a lot of other people who really enjoyed Bride enjoyed this one as well. I know a lot of people still have Bride as their favourite, but yeah, for me, Mate definitely took that place, and I'm really interested to see if she is going to write any more books in this world because there are more characters that we could explore, but I just don't know if she will or what it might follow. But I think we're definitely done with these two characters as the main characters in the series. Once I got to this point of the spread, I decided that I needed a little bit of something else, so I just added some of this green gingham washi to just try and create a little bit more texture and a little bit more depth into the spread because I felt like it just needed a bit of something else. And then I also found this sticker in my sticker release book that I decided to add. Because I usually end up writing my spreads quite a long time after finishing the book, I usually have to jump into Goodreads and see what the blurb is saying to remember the characters' names and things that have happened when I'm writing my little summary, just to make it a little bit easier for myself. And then I'm also adding some of these gold star stickers, which are so handy because they're pre-cut and you can just add them all over the spread, and I feel like they just make everything a little bit more magical and whimsical, and they're just really great for adding to my reading spreads. And I have been using these a lot. I've definitely got through the roll quite quickly, but there is actually so many left because as you can see on the roll there's just so many different stars, different sizes to choose from. So yeah, these are definitely one of my new obsessions that I have added to my stationery collection. But I really like this spread. I feel like it definitely represents the book with all the green and the moons. So yeah, this one was a very fun one to make. Okay, so we are now on to the next book, which, oh my god guys, you told me to read this book. So many people messaged me on Instagram like, you need to read this book because you will love it. It's definitely something you will really enjoy, and lots of people said it's similar to Gilmore Girls in the sense of like the world and Stars Hollow and everything. And I'd kind of put it off for a little bit. I was like, oh, do I have time to read this? And then one day I was just like, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna read this because everybody's told me to read it, so I should just listen to them and surely I will love it. And you guys were right, okay? This was a 5-star read for me. I had so much fun reading this book. It was just the most perfect autumn read, and even if you want to read this and it's not autumn anymore, you can definitely read this throughout the year. It's not, you know, super autumnal, but we do experience Halloween and little bits like that. But it's just a very cozy book. So basically, the premise of the book is that we have, I can't remember her name, sorry, but we have 2 characters, and she has to move to this little town to take over her mum's inn. And the plan is she's only doing it for a few months and then she's going to move back to the big city. But then, of course, the next door neighbour, Cliff, is also a baker, so he owns the local bakery, and he basically helps her out, and it's just always there and a little bit of a nuisance to her. And it was just so cute. I cannot explain to you how cute this book was. There is a pet dog called Rocket, and he is adorable in the book. There are lots of cozy things being made, as in like baked goods. He brings her baked goods, and he's just so cute. They enjoy all the little autumn small town festivities, and it was just adorable. Like, that is all I can say. It was just the most wholesome, perfect book. And one thing I will say as well, actually, is that Cliff is a single dad and he has 2 children. And I usually find children in books like really annoying, because I'm like, why? They just say like really annoying things sometimes, and I'm like, a child would never say that. And sometimes they're just always there and not really giving anything to the story. So whenever I see romance books that have children in, I tend to steer away from them. But this one was not like that at all. I felt like his 2 daughters gave so much to the story. They were really cute as well, with the dog and Rocket, and it definitely helped the story and brought a lot to it. So I maybe have changed my mind about this. And the epilogue made me cry, not with sad tears but happy tears. I don't know why, I just felt a lot of things in this book, okay? It was a lot, and I knew I had to make a really beautiful spread to match it. So I wanted to use this orange gingham to really bring the autumn vibes, and then I just went a bit crazy with the stickers. I had all these really cute like baked goods and coffee shop things that I thought would go perfect, and things that reminded me of the inn. And yeah, I am obsessed with this spread, to be honest. It's screaming autumn to me, and it really does make me think of the book, because the little desk at the bottom, that's what I was imagining the inn desk to be like, and things like that. So I'm really, really happy with this spread, and I would say if you have not read this book, then you definitely should. Listen to me like I listen to everybody else, and I did not regret it, and I've not heard anyone else regret this book either. And I think there might be more in the future, because there was 2 characters at the end that definitely were giving like they were going to make a book about them, but I don't know if that's confirmed yet. So yeah, let me know if you had the same thought at the end of the book. And I just had to add my 5 stars to this spread just to really show that it was a 5-star book. So I hope you enjoyed joining me today for today's reading journal update. It was very needed because I was so behind on my reading spreads. And if this is your first time here and you enjoyed, then don't forget to subscribe. I do add reading journal spreads into my vlogs that I do, my journal vlogs, because I just always have reading spreads to make basically. But because I had such a backlog, I really needed to catch up on a few, and these are maybe some of my favourite reading spreads that I've made in a long time. So yeah, you'll have to let me know if you've read any of these, which one is your favourite spread, and if you have any book recommendations for me, because listening to you was a great idea after finishing If It Makes You Happy. So Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next one.